All right, so here I am again back at the Nissan dealership for service. And I know before you get started on me, all of you folks who commented on my last video here, what, are you a nut, Popsy guy? Why are you bringing your car to the dealership? Their job is to rip you off. I get it. I understand. It's really not my first choice. But what I want to talk to you about today is the lack of options that people have in this economy. There are millions of people just like me right now who are holding on to their cars that would love nothing more than to walk into a dealership like this, plunk down a big chunk of cash and walk out with a brand new car and enjoy that new car smell. But those millions of people like me just can't do it in this economy. It just doesn't make any sense. So that doesn't answer the question why I'm at the Nissan dealership for work. Well, it goes along with the same theory that millions of people who are holding on to their cars are going to their hometown mechanic to have the work done, which I would love to do. Problem is, they're all busy. They are flooded with work and they can't even see me or take a look at my car for 2 or 3 days. And I needed something done ASAP. As you know, I deliver pizza and I need a car to do that. And so let me share with you what's going on. First of all, I own a 2016 Murano. I know. If you know anything about Nissans, they have the CVT transmission, continuously variable transmission. But if you happen to Google that, you'll notice that it is the absolute redheaded stepchild of transmissions. It's got nothing but problems. However, I haven't had any problems with my car, with my transmission at all. None. Got over 150,000 miles on this car. But coming back from a trip about 3.5 hours away to visit family this past weekend, I noticed that there was a groaning noise in the car. And one of the symptoms of the bad CVT transmission is a groaning noise. I looked at my wife, I said, that's it. We got to come up with some money to replace or repair this transmission. She said, okay, but why would we do that? Why wouldn't we just get another car? So I had to take some time, and she agrees, to look at what the value of used cars is today. And if you're shopping for a used car, you know that pre-2019, you could find a good deal. I mean, I think I shared with you in that other video that I spent $22,000 on a 2016, the same car I'm driving right now, Murano, with just under 6,000 to 7,000 miles on it. Fast forward 6 years, I've put what, 149,000 miles on that car. Yeah, pretty close. So it doesn't owe me anything. But I'm looking around at this dealership, and I went on Car Gurus, and I said, what would it cost me to replace the car I have now? So I went into the filter in Car Gurus, and I said, show me 2016 Murano, same model, and I want to see what the mileage is on some of these cars. The closest I could get was a 16, same trim, with 145,000 miles on it. Comment below what you think Car Gurus was selling that car for. Oh, you could just say it. Yeah, no. Close, no. You know how much they were asking for that car? $10,650. Did you hear that? $10,650. That's what it would cost me to replace the same car I have right now. And I would be walking into a car that I have no idea what the maintenance records are. I have no idea if it's got one of those CVT transmissions that's going to go out sometime. I have no idea about the car. I know everything about this car because I've owned it. So yeah, I would much rather spend less money. I would much rather spend less money at a local dealership, and it probably won't be that much. Let me tell you what I'm having done. I'm having the wheel bearings replaced. But most cars, when you hear that humming noise, it's usually one of the wheel bearings. Lucky me, I almost went for the 4 out of 4. It was 3 out of the 4 wheel bearings were shot. Now, I get it. You're like, are you sure? Did you take it to another mechanic? Did you get another opinion? And the answer is no. And the reason is because I just stated I can't even get into another mechanic for them to do that. And if they come back and said, yeah, there are 3 wheel bearings shot, the price is not going to be that much different, because I'd say a little over 3.5 years ago, I had one of the wheel bearings replaced, and it cost me at that time 300, I think it was 325. That's a little bit less than I'm paying for the 3 replacements here. You know, that price that I'm going to be paying all in, just over $1,000, will include the front end alignment because we've got to pull it all down. But my point is this: I cannot replace the car I'm driving right now. I just can't do it, and I can't turn it in, right? You might be thinking, well, geez, why don't you just take your car and trade it in, because they're selling on Car Gurus your car for $10,000. Big difference between wholesale and retail. If I bring it into this Nissan dealership, and the guy's already asked me twice, can I appraise your car? And I'm like, no, you can't, but thank you for asking, because you're in the business to make money, and I don't begrudge people trying to make money. But you're not going to make money off of me by giving me $3,000 for my car, cleaning it up, and then turning around, putting it on the lot for $6,000 or $7,000, or even $10,000, whatever the number that they think that they can get for it. That doesn't make any sense. And I don't happen to have, and I'm not sure I should even disclose this, but don't tell anybody, I don't have 10 to 12 grand in the bank that I can go run out, buy a car right now. The plan is to get to that point where I can, and I also believe that the market is going to come back to normal, or somewhat normal. I don't believe we're going to be 2019 levels, but I'm not going to pay $10,000 or $11,000 for a car with 150,000 miles on it. Just not going to do it. I don't know. Would you do that? Comment below and let me know if you think that what I'm thinking is crazy, and you think that I should probably just dump my car and get something else. I'm not going to share with you my personal financial situation, but I'd much rather put another $1,000 into this car that is paid for, has no payments, use it the way I use it, than rather than trying to find $10,000 or $12,000 to buy another one just like it. When you put it that way, it doesn't make sense, does it? Anyway, I'll keep you posted on what's going on. It's a hard one. It really is. And, you know, I think that at some point, all of us who are in this similar financial position, who are not by any stretch of the imagination wealthy, but we're not poor, and a vehicle is a very important part of your life, there is some point that you've got to decide whether to keep it and pour more money into it, or buy something else. And in my other video, when I said, would I pay $55,000 for this car, it was a 2025 Murano. No. Hell no, pardon my French. They're just not worth it. They're cars. During the pandemic, and I'm just going to wrap it up with this, during the pandemic, people thought that cars were appreciating assets. Never never has a car been an appreciating asset. I'm just going to say that right now. It's a depreciating asset. So those times when you had a car and the car dealerships were calling you up and offering you crazy numbers for trade-ins or cash, that wasn't because the car was worth more. It's supply and demand. If you remember, during COVID, we didn't have enough cars because of the supply chain issues. So the cars that were available became more expensive. That is just supply and demand. It doesn't make the car better. Matter of fact, I'll argue that these cars today that are being built, these pieces of plastics, they're running computers surrounded by plastic. They're far less reliable than the cars that we're used to driving. So why would I go ahead and spend money I don't have on a car that I don't want, right? I said it in the other video, I'll say it again, that most people will borrow money they don't have to buy things they don't need to impress people they don't like, and that ain't me. So anyway, that's it. That's the roundup for today. I just wanted to stay in touch, let you know what's going on in my world. Please comment, let me know again. I know there's some strong opinions both ways, and I want to hear them. This is how we learn. But also, if you haven't done so, consider subscribing or leaving a like. It really helps the channel. So until we meet again, thank you for hanging out with Posse Guy. Bye-bye.